Hello and welcome to our channel, Sisters in Space. This is one of the hosts, Rikhi, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my aerospace journey. I wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about why I wanted to be an aerospace engineer and why I chose to study so far from home in the United States, even though I'm from Singapore. My aerospace journey began on March 8th, 2014, when the Malaysian Airlines plane MH370 went missing. And I just remember seeing the headlines and just thinking, that could have been my mom or that could have been my dad on that plane. When the initial shock of the event subsided, I began looking more into the technology behind the plane, how exactly it is that people track these things. I scrambled and searched for words like Doppler pings or black box or ADS-B. I kind of sat on this event for a whole year before I realized that I had this passion for aviation safety. I realized that I was deeply curious about it, and so I decided to do an internship. And this internship was as a non-destructive testing intern. I worked at a company in Singapore, and what I did was radiographic testing. So what I did at this internship was I would set up these objects that we wanted to test for ruptures or wear and tear and see if they were holding up correctly, and we would shoot x-rays at it, and then I would collect the x-ray and I would process it, and then I would give it to the engineers who would look at what damage occurred on these parts. So after I did my internship, I was very invested in this industry. I just remember being at that internship and thinking how grateful I was, or how lucky I was to be in that environment. I was the only girl there working downstairs with all these equipment, and I was like, oh my god, like I really got to do this. I was so just incredibly shaken by my experience. The next year I applied to a whole bunch of universities around the world, and then ultimately I chose the American University because I realized that I wanted to compete collegiately at a collegiate level for dance. And so I realized that this American University, Georgia Tech, offered that, and it was one of the best schools for aerospace engineering. I settled on engineering because I really like physics and I really like math, and so far my degree has been heavy on both of those things, a lot of math, and I felt very comfortable in those subjects and I really enjoyed it. I really liked solving those problems. It was fun. Here I was at Georgia Tech, I was super excited, and little did I know how difficult it would be being a foreign national in aerospace. So regardless of the country, it was just difficult not being from that country in the aerospace department of that school. So there are literal doors that are closed off that I can't enter because I'm a foreign national. Initially, that was slightly demoralizing. I didn't quite know how to navigate certain things. I was told by so many students to drop my major. It didn't get easier because there weren't other girls in my classes either, and I do deeply believe that representation matters. So if you see someone like you at a class, you're like, oh, she's doing this, I can do this, I got it. But I realized how there weren't that many people that looked like me, and so it was really intimidating at first. But after I got through my core classes, I got to my major classes, and I made a ton of friends, people that were as passionate about it as I. Somewhere along the way, I stumbled and I failed. I did very poorly until I realized how to do better. And in that, I found my ability to communicate. I found my ability to communicate about my failure, and I started blogging about productivity and failure and what it means to do badly and then do well, and how can I do better. I was so obsessed with just wanting to do better. I also found the Brooke Owens Fellowship. I applied to this fellowship thinking, I'm just gonna give it a shot. It did say on the website that it was gonna be terribly difficult being a foreign national, but in late 2018, I found out that I received this fellowship. Since then, everything has really taken a turn. My aerospace journey has taken a turn. I remember being a part of many clubs in university where I didn't quite know if I fit in. So I was super passionate about what I was doing. I was part of the Design Build Fly Club, where we built unmanned aerial vehicles. I was part of the School of Aerospace's Advisory Council, where we liaised between the administration and the students. And throughout all of this, I just kept thinking, you know, where do I fit into all of this in the big picture? I didn't want to do clubs just for the sake of doing clubs. So after I received this fellowship, I realized how many different paths the other girls in this fellowship were taking, all the things that they were curious about, things that I didn't even realize I could be interested in, like policy or space psychology or healthcare for space. And now I'm doing space consulting, and I'm just incredibly excited about where my aerospace journey has taken me. So in summary, a very scared and lost and confused teenager who didn't know how a plane went missing and just wanted to find out how. A very determined freshman at university who just wanted to be in that department. And then a scared sophomore who didn't do too well in school. Then now a very determined junior and I guess rising senior who's a space consultant who is so excited about her prospects in aerospace. That's a little bit about me, and thank you for following me along